Imagine taking the last train home after a long day at work. The carriage is nearly empty. Just a few exhausted passengers scattered across the seats. You sit down, close your eyes, and wait for your stop. Then you notice him, a man in a brown jacket sitting across from you. He's staring straight ahead, completely still. His briefcase rests on his lap. He looks tired, exhausted, actually, like he's been working too long, too hard, for too many years. You glance away, check your phone, look back. He hasn't moved, not even slightly. Same position, same expression, not blinking, not breathing. The train reaches your stop. You exit. You glance back through the window. He's still sitting there, still staring ahead. The train pulls away, heading to the next station, and the next, and the next. This is what happens every night on the Tsuen Wan Line in Hong Kong. The same man in the same seat, riding the same train over and over. Security guards have tried to approach him. He vanishes. CCTV footage shows something sitting there, but when zoomed in, the image distorts into static. And when MTR staff checked the records, they discovered something that explained everything. In 2008, a man died of a heart attack on that train. His body wasn't discovered for hours. He'd been riding the train back and forth, dead in his seat, while the train continued its route. His name was Mr. Lau. And 16 years later, he's still riding, still trying to get home, unable to exit, unable to rest, trapped in an endless journey through the tunnels beneath Hong Kong. This is his story. It was October 2008. Hong Kong was in the grip of the global financial crisis. Companies were cutting costs, laying off workers, demanding more from those who remained. Office workers were pulling 12, 14, 16-hour days, trying to prove they were valuable enough to keep. Mr. Lau was 52 years old. He worked in accounting for a mid-sized trading company in Central. He'd been with the company for 20 years. He had a wife and a daughter in university. He lived in Tsuen Wan in the New Territories. Every day, he took the MTR from Tsuen Wan to Central. Every night, he took it back. But during the financial crisis, the every night part got later and later. 9 p.m. became 10 p.m. 10 p.m. became 11 p.m. By October, Mr. Lau was regularly catching the last train home, arriving after midnight, sleeping a few hours, and starting again. His wife told him to slow down. His daughter told him to take care of his health. But Mr. Lau was from a generation that believed in sacrifice, in working hard, in never complaining. He'd survived the 1997 Asian financial crisis. He'd survived this one too. On October 23, 2008, Mr. Lau left his office at 11:45 p.m. He walked to Central Station and boarded the last Tsuen Wan Line train, departing at 12:17 a.m. The carriage was nearly empty. Just a few other late-night workers, some service, industry employees, a couple of tourists who'd stayed out too late. Mr. Lau sat in his usual spot. Car 3, seat 7A, window seat. He could lean his head against the glass and close his eyes. He'd done this hundreds of times. The journey from Central to Tsuen Wan took about 30 minutes. He'd rest, get off at his stop, walk home, sleep for 5 hours, and do it all again. The train pulled out of Central Station. Mr. Lau closed his eyes. He was so tired. His chest felt tight. He'd felt it all day, a pressure, a heaviness. He told himself it was just stress, just exhaustion. He'd feel better after some sleep. The train stopped at Admiralty. A few passengers got off. No one got on. The train continued to Tsim Sha Tsui. More passengers exited. The carriage was almost empty now. Just Mr. Lau and 2 other people at the far end. Somewhere between Tsimsha and Jordan, Mr. Lau's heart stopped. The pain in his chest suddenly intensified, then disappeared entirely. His last conscious thought was relief. Finally, he could rest. Finally, the pressure was gone. He slumped against the window. The two other passengers in the carriage didn't notice. They were absorbed in their phones, in their own exhaustion. The train continued its route. Jordan, Yau Ma Te, Mongkok, Prince Edward, Sham Shui Po. At each stop, a few passengers got on, a few got off. No one sat near Mr. Lau. No one looked at him closely. He appeared to be sleeping. Just another exhausted worker heading home after a long day. The train reached Tsuen Wan, the end of the line. The last few passengers exited. The train sat empty at the platform for a few minutes, then began its journey back to the depot for overnight maintenance. It wasn't until the train reached the depot and maintenance staff began their inspection that someone finally noticed Mr. Lau. He was cold. He'd been dead for over 2 hours. He'd ridden the entire line, back and forth, deceased in his seat, while life continued around him. The MTR staff called the police. An investigation determined Mr. Lau had died of a heart attack, likely brought on by stress and overwork. There was no foul play. Just a man who'd worked too hard for too long, whose heart finally gave out on the train ride home. Mr. Lau's family was devastated. His wife blamed herself for not insisting he see a doctor. His daughter blamed herself for not calling him more often, not checking on him. But mostly, they were heartbroken by how he died. Alone, unnoticed, riding the train for hours before anyone realized he was gone. The funeral was held. The rituals were performed. Mr. Lau was laid to rest. His family grieved and eventually tried to move forward. They believed he was at peace. But 6 months later, in April 2009, an MTR security guard named Chen was doing his final check on the last train of the night. As he walked through car 3, he saw a man sitting in seat 7A. The man wore a brown jacket and dark trousers. He carried a briefcase. He was staring straight ahead with an exhausted expression. "Sir," Guard Chen said, approaching, "the service is ending. This is the last stop." The man didn't respond, didn't move. Guard Chen got closer. "Sir, you need to exit the train." As Guard Chen reached out to touch the man's shoulder, the figure faded, like smoke dissipating. One moment he was there, the next, the seat was empty. Guard Chen stood there, his hand extended toward nothing. He looked around the empty carriage. He was alone. He'd been alone the entire time, but he'd seen him, clearly. A middle-aged man in a brown jacket, sitting in seat 7A, staring ahead with that exhausted expression. Guard Chen reported the incident to his supervisor. The supervisor listened, then said quietly, "You saw him. The man who died here last year. You're not the first." Over the following months and years, more sightings were reported. Different guards, different maintenance staff, even passengers who regularly took the last train, all describing the same man, same seat, same brown jacket, same briefcase, same exhausted stare. In 2012, Guard Wong saw him and tried to approach. The figure vanished. In 2015, a passenger named Sarah sat across from him for 3 stops, noticing he never moved, never blinked. In 2019, Guard Liu checked the CCTV footage after a sighting. The video showed something in seat 7A, but when he zoomed in, the image became distorted, pixelated, impossible to make out clearly. But the seat was occupied. The footage showed the seat compressed, as if someone was sitting there. Temperature sensors in car 3 registered 3-4 degrees colder than other cars during these incidents. The pattern was consistent. Last train of the night, car 3, seat 7A. A man in a brown jacket with a briefcase, staring straight ahead, never moving, never exiting, and when approached, fading into nothing. MTR staff began to understand what was happening. Mr. Lau's spirit was still riding the train, still trying to get home, still trapped in the routine of his final night. Boarding at Central, sitting in his usual seat, closing his eyes to rest, never realizing he would never wake up, never arrive home, never exit the train. In Chinese belief, this makes him a lonely ghost, someone who died alone, unnoticed, with unfinished business. His last thought was getting home to his family, but he never made it. And now his spirit repeats that journey endlessly, unable to complete it, unable to move on. Some MTR staff have tried to help. They've left offerings at Tsuen Wan Station, where Mr. Lau would have exited. They've burned incense and paper money. They've asked Buddhist monks for advice. But the sightings continue, because Mr. Lau is trapped not just by death, but by routine. For 20 years, he took that train. Every day, the same route, the same seat. It became so automatic, so ingrained, that even death couldn't break the pattern. He's still riding, still sitting in seat 7A, still staring ahead with that exhausted expression, still trying to get home after another long day at work. And every night, on the last train from Central to Tsuen Wan, he's there, waiting, riding, never arriving. Mr. Lau's story is a tragedy that speaks to Hong Kong's extreme work culture and the price people pay for it. In Chinese beliefs, lonely ghosts need help to move on. Proper rituals, family acknowledgement, acceptance of death. But Mr. Lau's family doesn't know his spirit is still riding the train. They believe he's at peace. Perhaps he's waiting for someone to tell him it's okay to stop. It's okay to rest. It's okay to finally go home. What do you think? Is Mr. Lau's spirit still trapped on the MTR? Should someone perform a ceremony on the train itself? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more true ghost stories from across Asia.